Welcome, everyone. I am John Ryan of SportsMemo.com, and this is my favorite show to host. I'm here with my buddy and good friend, professional sports betting guru, Ronald Cabang is in the house. Welcome, Ronald. We've been rolling pretty good. 48 shows we've done, and I've tabulated the record at 63.2% against the spread. A couple of our followers that I also have track it with us have us a little bit better. I don't know where the mix up there is, but I like being on the low end of the record keeping because then we're being on the conservative side of our gradings. But pretty good stuff, and both of us are running hot in the NBA, so make sure you get over to sportsmemo.com. Ron, I'm coming off a 10-unit winner with the Miami Heat winning outright against the Celtics. And, I have to shake my head because, Miami going on the road in Boston. Boston's the best record team in the Eastern Conference since game number 41. Was a little scary, but that's why we have the models to take away all that scariness, and it kind of directs us to the bet to make. In this case, it was the Heat. But let's get started here. We're going to take a look at the first game here, and it is the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is the last game. Let me just back up here a second real quick. Here we go. Dallas Mavericks. Sorry about that, guys and gals. Dallas Mavericks, third in the Western Conference, now tied with the reeling Golden State Warriors. They own the tiebreaker over the Warriors right now, and Dallas has been playing very well. They made that trade, Ronald, with Porzingis for Dinwiddie, and I was a head scratcher at first, but, Porzingis has been hurt repeatedly. I get the idea of, getting what they could for him, but Dinwiddie has been a stud. And ever since he's been with the Mavericks, they have played extraordinarily well, and he's augmented Luka Doncic's play, which is scary for anybody playing them. I don't think Washington has much to play for in this matchup, even though they're at home in front of the home fans. I think most of the fans will be there to see the Mavericks, with all due respect. What do you see as the best bet opportunity in this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to note that, you mentioned Dinwiddie coming to the Mavs. I was also skeptical at first because I didn't know how it was going to affect how Brunson was going to play, because he was really playing well before the trade as well. So, I mean, it's cool to see that they were able to put that all together the way that they did and have so far. For me, I'm looking at the Mavs here. I think this is a really great spot. This is a revenge spot for them. The Wizards won earlier. I think it was either November or December by a few points. And in revenge spots, the Mavs are 16-3 against the spread. They make the coaching staff does a really great job with adjusting from previous matchup losses. They look at the game film, they do what they need to do to get it done. And that's one thing that the Mavs have done so well this season. I know schedule-wise, it's not great, right? The second game of a 4-game road trip, third game in 4 nights, but it is not a back-to-back. Same thing with the Wizards, third game in 4 nights, but not a back-to-back. The Wizards are coming off of a win, and they put up over 120 points. And then the following game, when they do that, they're 2-9 against the spread. So we're going to see a little bit of a letdown here in this spot. 2-5 against the spread as home dogs in non-conference games. So this is a spot that we could look to fade the Wizards here. If we're looking at current form as well, Mavs top 5 in offensive rating last 5 games and the same time frame. Wizards are bottom 10 in offensive rating. So even though the Wizards have been winning, they haven't been, they really haven't been putting up points. So that kind of goes with the story of them, possibly having a letdown here. After putting up 120 points, they'll probably go back to their normal, offensive struggles here in this game against the Mavs, who typically are a really great defensive team. I think the big story here is really, the players coming off of the trade deadline and how they're going to perform. But I think overall the Mavs are just a better team, and they have much more to play for. So I would be taking the Mavs here with the I think it's at -8 or -8.5 right now.
Yeah, I like that side as well, Ronald. I'm going to give out 2 prop bets here. I like Luka Doncic, who torched them in the previous meeting, which, by the way, was a Washington Wizards upset win in Big D. So there's a little bit of revenge here, but I think the greater focus is that Dallas keeps winning and gets at least that 3rd seed in the Western Conference playoffs, assuring them of at least one playoff round with home court advantage, which for them is significant. Doncic is 37.5 points and assists. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm not going with rebounds, because he usually does better with that. The reason is clear. I'm going to also suggest taking Doncic as a triple-double candidate tonight at plus 320. Those both lines are at FanDuel. Again, 37.5 points and assists, minus 110, and plus 320 that he gets a triple-double tonight. So we're going to move on now to the second game here. And that game is going to be the Suns. The Suns against the second best team in the NBA, basically. There's only one team with over 60 wins, and that's the Suns. There's only one team with over 50 wins, and it happens to be the Grizzlies. But the Grizzlies are 7.5-point home underdogs with the second best record in the NBA Association. Ron, there's got to be something going on with this line. So take it away and tell me where you see the best bet.
Yeah, this one really is a tough game. I think when we looked at this earlier in the week, and you're seeing the Suns and the Grizzlies playing each other, you would assume this would be like a key matchup, a marquee matchup. But coming into this, we see, obviously Morant is out. The Grizzlies have been doing so well without him, but now you're going to see a lot of the guys that played up while he's been out. Guys like Tyus Jones, Desmond Bane. And then obviously there's the bigs, Steven Adams and Triple J. Those guys are going to be doubtful tonight. I think it has to do with both teams really just being locked into the playoff positions that they are at this point. Suns are pretty much locked in at first. Grizzlies are pretty much locked in at second. It almost seems like they're really just focusing on health, and that's one of the biggest things that I've been hearing throughout the week in a lot of the interviews is going into these playoffs. Teams are focusing on health. And it's easier for these teams who have positions locked in to do that. So, when we picked this game earlier this week, it obviously was a key game, but now it doesn't mean too much. To me, it really has to do with are the Suns also going to match the Grizzlies in resting key players at this point, right? So I think this is one of those games where we want to see, we want to wait until later on in the day to see who's actually sitting and who's not. But I think whoever has the deepest bench, right, at this point. And to me, it would be the Suns here because most of the guys that are sitting are already doubtful and possibly sitting for the Grizzlies. If you think the Suns are going to sit some guys, then, I would say, wait until later. But if not, this might be just a stay away from me. This is tough because this is one of those games where psychologically you don't know exactly what's going to happen until later on. But a lot of the trends as far as ATS, they back and support each team here because they've been doing so well all throughout the season as against the spread teams. So to me, this is one of the toughest games on the slate now. Earlier this week, it obviously looked like a great game, but right now it's one of those stay away games where you just it might be something to watch, but not put any money on.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. I also lean towards the Suns a little bit, Ronald, because they're only getting 27% of the love right now in the betting markets. Granted, it's early, like you said, but I'm intrigued by this opportunity, and I might do half a pizza money bet on this, and I do emphasize half. If the Suns late in the day announce that Devin Booker or Chris Paul is going to rest, the line is obviously going to come down, but that also means that a guy like Michael Bridges of the Suns is going to get more playing time. Yep. And right now he's lined at 16.5 points and assists at FanDuel minus 115. And I just throw that out there because I think that's an intriguing opportunity just for half a pizza bet at this point. And maybe you add to it if we get favorable news that's going to show that he's going to be playing more minutes.
Yeah.
So good stuff. So now our last game here, we're going to move over to the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. And this is a very intriguing game. We have the Timberwolves are in the 7th position in the Western Conference. They have to do that play-in tournament, which for those that don't quite understand that, it's not that tricky, but it can be tricky because the winner of the 7-8 seed advances to the playoff bracket as the 7 seed. If you're the 9-10 matchup, you have to win 2 games. So you not only have to win the game 9 versus 10, you then have to beat the loser of the 7-8. And if you do that, whoever wins that second game, which is basically the 3rd game of that play-in tournament, you are then classified as the 8 seed going up against the number 1 seed, which obviously would be the Suns. But take it away, Ronald, and tell me where you see the best bet here in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this game is a really great game as far as being a NBA fan. Like Jesse, what you mentioned, playing for that six spot here is super important in the playoffs because you don't want to play against a Clippers team that just got Paul George back, and also the Pelicans who are probably going to get healthy pretty soon with everybody coming back. I think that the West is a pretty tough in tough position as far as being in the playing tournament. You don't want to be there right now. And I think here the key is Nuggets traveling. I think this is one of those games where you want to obviously we talk about the Denver Nuggets at home because of the elevation and all that stuff. And when they're going from road to home, they do struggle. They're 3-12 against the spread going from road to home. After scoring 120 plus, we see a little bit of a letdown here. They're 6-16 against the spread in that position. We got a few guys out. Najee is out. Obviously, Murray has been talked about coming back pretty soon, but he had the setback, and so did MPJ. JaMychal Green is a game time decision. They are on a 3-game winning streak. Lakers are up next with AD possibly back in the lineup as well, so there's possible look ahead there. Wolves, they have the Rockets up next, so they can really go all out on this game and not have to worry about resting any guys or taking any pressure off. The only two guys out for the Wolves are Beasley and McDaniel, so a lot of the key guys are going to be here. They have lost 4 of the last 5, so I mean, in current form, they're not doing too well. But things favor them. They're 11-4 against the spread following a double-digit previous matchup win. So they took care of the Nuggets earlier this season and won by double digits. And when they do that, they do a good job of continuing to be successful against those types of teams. So to me, I do like the Wolves, and a lot of the signs also point towards the over. Wolves on the road are really a strong over team. So those are the 2 looks for me in this game.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm with you. And D'Angelo Russell, I think, is worth plus 550 to get a double-double. I know that is a bit of a reach, but I think you're getting paid to assume the risk that he gets one. I like that one quite a bit among the player props I've seen so far today. So now it comes to my betting angle of the day, and this is supporting the Timberwolves, and we're betting on road underdogs in a matchup of teams that are making 33.5 to 37% of their three-pointers after game number 41, which means the second half of the season, not after the All-Star break, after game number 41. And the home favorite is coming off a game shooting 55% or better. So, the Nuggets are due for a little bit of regression here, I think. This combination of parameters, 28-11, 2 pushes, 72% wins over the last 5 seasons. All told, it tells you to bet on the Minnesota Timberwolves in this matchup. So let's move on to the best bets of the show. Ronald, always our most trying because we have to pick from so many really good opportunities. So as always, I defer to your expertise first, and I'll go after you give out the best bets for the show.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give out two today, and I believe both of these are going to be premium plays for me. I haven't, put in the bets yet, but these 2 are very promising to me. I like the Mavs against the spread and the Wolves against the spread. Those 2 will likely be premium plays, so I'm giving those 2 out for free today.
That's good stuff. And I like the Minnesota Timberwolves quite a bit too, supported by the betting angle of the day, hitting 72% winners over the last 5 years. Hard to argue with that one. And I think Denver coming off that game at 55% is prone towards, if they shoot 48%, I think, that plays right into Minnesota's hands. And lastly, the player prop, D'Angelo Russell, plus 550 for a double-double. I like for pizza money. That means like $10, $15 if you're a $100 bettor. It's not $100 on a player prop. No one pays $100 for a pizza, Ronald. Not that I know of. You'd have to be a billionaire, I guess. Maybe you can pay for that then and get a $100 pizza. But the point taken. So anyway, it brings us to the conclusion of the show here. This is the Friday edition of the Triple Double Show for April 1st. It's April Fool's Day, so think twice when somebody says something that you kind of go, "Wait, that's stupid," because they're trying to get you And, I don't even answer some of those questions. I just kind of like pretend I didn't hear it, and just be careful with that. But even more careful with betting with your head and not over it. And always remember, may all the wins be yours. We'll look forward to seeing you on Monday for another edition of the Triple Double. Until then, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Final Four, and the best of luck to everyone.